So, throughout the semester, if you have watched these videos regularly, you've seen the same format, right? A pithy greeting, followed by a funny gif that may or may not be appropriate for what I'm saying due to the fact that my brain is kind of wired differently than most. Once you see that and I say something about it, I move to Brightspace and continue through the announcement here. Yes, this was the video that I posted last Christmas. Fun, isn't it? Then we have the things to review, the things to submit, and all sorts of stuff. And then we end with the 102 masterclass schedule over here. And we scroll all the way down to the announcement that we're supposed to have. Oh, here we are. Week 15. There we go. Okay. So you see, it kind of goes the same way every week. Wait, there's a switch up this week, folks. Hi, this is me. This week's schedule is all about oral presentations, and I think it's rather important that we chat about this rather than just kind of go through the material like we would normally do. I want to make sure that you understand that the material that's in there is fine, as always. But honestly, I think learning by doing is a little bit better than learning by just ignoring the material that you're probably not going to read anyway, okay? We're going to go over this and then the sample that I made for you. You're probably wondering why I'm showing you on a video myself and the Microsoft Teams that pops up. But I do this because you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to figure out whether or not you want to show yourself on your presentation or not. I hope you do. As an online class, I never get to see you. I have no idea who you are. If you ran into me in the hallway or on the street, I would have no idea who you were. So I want to make sure that you feel comfortable enough to do this. Now remember, your presentation is due by Sunday, May 4th, 2025, by 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Do not ask for extensions. Do not give me excuses. There are no excuses and extensions and exceptions. None. That's because the semester literally ends at 11:59 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, May 4th, 2025. This decision was not made by me. It was made by people who usually wear suits and ties to school, and they have a lot of meetings, and they make a whole lot more money than I do. So to say that I had any say in this whatsoever is grossly overinterpreting my role at the college. So please make sure that you are getting this in by the exact time, because honestly, once that window closes, you couldn't submit anything anyway. All right? Make sure you have it in there. Course will be closed. Grades will be zeros. Now, the presentation. You can turn on your camera and present your visuals, which I really hope you choose to do. The online classes, they're always disappointing to me because I never actually get to see you or interact with you. Best a few emails, you know. But you can record a voiceover to complement that and never have to show your face, and a lot of people choose that. However, by having a little window in the corner of your screen, well, that's kind of helpful. So I'd like to see you, if you wouldn't mind. So what are you going to be presenting? Well, we discussed it last week, but let me tell you that it's a smart idea to look through that announcement again and look at argumentative research overview right here. Remember, you have to include these 5 points. You have to add visuals. And all of this material here can help you if you really want to go through it, okay? Remember that you need it to be 5 to 8 minutes long, right here. It has to have roughly about 10 slides in it. It's got to feature some visuals. You can use Google Slides or PowerPoint or Prezi. I personally prefer PowerPoint simply because I've been using it for so long that I'm used to it. But whatever you use, it must hit on these 5 bulleted points, okay? It must illustrate the scope of your research that you did for your paper. So, now that we've discussed that, let's go through the promised PowerPoint I just talked to you about a few minutes ago. Now, I'm going to go through this twice for a reason. The first time, I want to show you what it looks like as the presentation. The second time, I want to throw the hood up and show you what the engine looks like, okay? So I promise, the first spin through will be only a couple of minutes long, when the second one will be a little bit longer, okay? So, here we go. One thing I did notice about this PowerPoint is that the colors look pretty good when you're looking at it on a computer by yourself, but when you project it into the front of the room, it is really a pain in the butt to read. So I would highly recommend picking different colors for this. So as you can see here, the title slide is going to be, your title, your name. If anybody knows who's Kevin Mitnick is, it's my little in joke here. He was a very famous hacker. And then honestly, the same stuff that you have on your title page of your paper, okay? Then we have the clicks. And if you can notice, everything comes in kind of as it eases into the material. So what I have here is the introduction to your actual topic, okay? Kind of the hook. So if I click on it, you'll see that things come up gently. They'll come up quickly, but softly, okay? Now the text here is a little bit small. I would probably blow that up if I were you. And then down here we talk about kind of why I chose to do the topic itself. Now obviously I'm making things up a little bit. My major was not criminal justice. I am not hoping to do something with criminal justice in the future, but this is what I would expect from you as a student. And then notice I have a single image on this screen, a single image on this screen, okay? A single image on this screen. And now, these are my research questions. What did I put in there? Now, if you're wondering, well, God, what are my research questions? Go back to the Unit 3 Building Research Questions assignment that you did first thing for Unit 3. I forget what week that was. But if you go in there, you should be able to find at least 4 research questions that you listed. Some of you may have switched them since then. That's fine. Either way, you already have them, and you can show what the questions are and why you chose them, okay? Then we get down to our thesis slide. This was my thesis statement, all right? So notice that just comes right up. There was no playing around with that. Over here, we start actually talking about what we found in our research. We have our research recap argument. We have our first claim, our second claim, our third claim. Also notice that on the presentation, anytime I have used material that I've taken from other sources, what I've done is I have listed the in-text citations as well. You do need them. We have our fourth claim here. And notice that this picture, just to be, let me do it this way. There we go. It spins in for a little bit of difference, but it doesn't continue to animate. It doesn't actually distract. It just comes in, pops there, and that's done, okay? Then we go to our counter-argument, our 2 counter-argument claims with associated citations if necessary. And then our rebuttal claims, our 2 associated rebuttal claims. Then, my favorite slide is the interesting results of my research. Give me 2 or 3 or 4 different things that you found that you weren't necessarily expecting. So, that works. Finally, you're going to recap everything at the end with just an overall conclusion slide. Bring up the points, kind of remind your reader or your viewer what they just saw, and then stop with the almighty any questions slide. If you do this and you want to actually field questions, you can put your Delaware Tech email address on here and just say, hey, if you have any questions about this or any further questions, you can always feel free to email me and I'll try to get back to you. Fair warning, hardly anybody ever does that, okay? So you don't have to really worry about it too much, but always have an any questions slide. Finalized by your references slides. Now, I have 2 references slides because I used 6 sources within this presentation. Please notice that I only listed out the sources that I used in the presentation, not just the sources that I might have used in the paper as well. You can use the same sources from your paper in your presentation and reverse. However, if you did not use the source in the presentation, but you used it in the paper, leave it out of the presentation references, okay? And then once you're done, you're done. So, after that, we get back to the actual PowerPoint presentation background. And the one thing I want you to do is look at my notes pieces. Oh, wait, there's no notes. Oh, my God, what do we do? Well, up here under the View tab, you click on Notes. And as you can see, the notes actually pop up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink the slide a little bit since we just saw it. And you're going to see that underneath each slide, I tell you exactly what should be on the slide and really what you should be doing in the presentation. So there's one. Here is the kind of get ready for the slide, kind of establish the topic as a whole. And then all of this material here will help you, okay? This is the ethos slide. What is your credibility on this? Meaning, why'd you choose the topic? Is it your major? Is it something you plan on doing? Do you have a family member who does it? Do you read a lot about it? Why did you choose this topic above all else? There we go. What did I want to discover? A minimum of 3 research questions. That helps. And this is kind of why you're going to explain why you felt the need to direct the argument in the direction that it went. Then you have your thesis statement, telling your audience exactly what you were doing. Here we start off with our research recap. Again, we have 3 claims here. We have our 4th claim here. We go to our counter argument. We have our two counter claims here. And we have our 2 rebuttal claims here. Great. Pretty easy, right? Then, the interesting results of my research. Again, you're going to give me 2 or 3 interesting points that are really going to be helpful. Finally, the conclusion slide, the final idea of the paper, whether or not the original argument was proven to be credible. Awesome. Then, of course, we have our any questions slide and then our references slide. And that's it. Did all that make sense? If not, go back and review it. If it still doesn't make sense, email me as soon as possible so I can help. Now, as you can see, the documents you have to review this week aren't necessarily the most help across the board. You can review Conclusions Matter down here, but you know what? We've already talked about that for your paper. You can review Developing Presentation Skills, but that's really just a bunch of videos that you can watch, and if you're not going to watch this one, you're probably not going to watch that one. To be honest, you probably get the most out of my videos each week, depending on how I've tried to engage you. So I'm not saying my videos are amazing, but you can at least see the delivery, the visuals, the overall presentation. It's pretty much the same thing. In effective visual aids, there are really some important and helpful links to show you how to set up the PowerPoint. What are these awesome PowerPoint presentation skills that you're going to have to find? Well, it's under the very confusingly titled PowerPoint Presentation Skills. Yeah, it was kind of a bit obvious and on the nose where that material was, wasn't it? So you can figure out how to use PowerPoint to record the presentation, how to do just the voiceover in PowerPoint, and all this other stuff here. That's great. Here's the Beginner's Guide to ScreenPal's free screencast recorder, and honestly, that's the one I'm using. It used to be called Screencast-O-Matic, but I've updated it because they've updated the whole idea. And I actually bought the 2-year membership or whatever because I need to make longer videos than you do. So I can do that. You know, you just need a 5 to 8 minute video. So just get the free recorder. You don't need anything else. I don't care if it's got a watermark at the bottom. It's fine. Just look through these tutorials to help you. Now, on the final page over here, which is using technology to present information, honestly, this is going to be the most helpful page of the entire semester. It shows you exactly what you need to do with the Microsoft suite of programs, like these, and the Google suite of programs, like these, to kind of help you get ready for your screencasting. Anybody here who feels that they are technologically lacking, this is the page to pay attention to, okay? All right, fine. We have one final thing to review. That's the final project of the semester. Once again, this is due by Sunday, May 4th, 2025, by 11:59 p.m. Eastern. There is no next day submission because the semester ends on Sunday, May 4th, 2025, by 11:59 p.m. Eastern. After that, game over, man. Game over. So, here's the final submission. If you don't want to go back to all the previous documents, the 5 major bullet points should be listed right down here under structure and content. How great is that? So all of that, be sure to include all of them. As you saw through my visual. I listed out everything that was asked for here, okay? So that's the important part. If I were you, I'd also figure out what the rubric looks like. So we do that and open a new tab so we can take a look at it. Oh, can't be found. Well, I got to figure that out, huh? In any case, we'll figure out the rubric and put that up there. If you have any questions, because this will actually tell me who's watched the video or not. If you can't see the rubric, email me. And that's it. If this is a long semester, you've made it to the end. For probably all of you, this is your last English class that you have to take. For the few of you who are looking at English 122 or English 124, well, I don't teach them. So aren't you lucky? Thanks again for all the time that you spent this semester trying your best. Those of you who put a lot of time and effort into your submissions, it made my life easier. Better papers are easier to grade after all. I hope you all have a great summer break if you're not taking summer courses. And honestly, if you are, I hope you have a great break anyway. Good luck in your future courses, and I can't wait to see each one of you walk across the stage at graduation. See ya.